What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of Talking Ball. It's Jack here, and today we're looking at Derik Queen, the big man from Maryland, the freshman, 6'10", 245 pounds or so. He will be 20 years old by the time the draft takes place, one of the older freshmen in this class, perhaps the oldest. And he's an extremely skilled big guy. Like, I think it's a little bit of a disservice to even say that. I just think he's one of the more skilled players in this draft class. When you look at Derik Queen, the things that jump off the page are his ability to handle at his size, his comfort on the perimeter, his ability to be versatile, to shoot the three, to shoot from mid range, to have floaters to his game. His touch from the free throw line down is really impressive. And he just has a lot of composure for somebody who hasn't played a ton of basketball. He's a good passer. He's a good to great rebounder. You know, his first NCAA college game, he had 20 rebounds and 22 points. He can finish with his left hand just as much as his right. And he has the ability to see the floor really well and find his teammates when he needs to. And as we know, he's got a ton of confidence and moxie based off of his last shot, his game-winning shot, I should say, in the NCAA tournament. Now, defensively, I think is where you can start to have some questions, I think more so. Because offensively, while he didn't shoot a great percentage from the three-point line in college, and we'll get to the stats later, he shot a number of free throws. He was at 76% from the free throw line. I think the three-point shot will come along. Whether it'll be a 40% three-point shooter, I'm not certain, but I do think he will make them at least a league average, a respectable rate. But the questions for me come more on the defensive end. He's listed at 6'10". I think he's probably realistically 6'9". And while he does have the lateral quickness to defend, if you want to have him at the level in pick and roll coverage, he's not necessarily an out and out shot blocker, a true rim protector, and so I think his defensive position is a little bit up in the air. And will depend on who his teammates are. He's a little bit undersized as a pure center, and for that reason, I do think Derik Queen benefits from the current trend, the very recent trend of playing two bigs. I think that helps him with his draft stock and position because more teams, I think, are going to continue that trend and play two bigs, especially with his skill and ability to shoot the ball from the perimeter. I think he will play more power forward than center, but I do think some of that will depend on how good his teammates are at defending. Are there other defensive liabilities on his team? We kind of see this now with Karl-Anthony Towns playing 5 and the 4. We saw that especially in his time in Minnesota. We've seen that this season with Alperen Sengun playing more time at the 4, with Steven Adams playing the 5. So that's been a little bit more of a theme. Chet Holmgren, another example. The only other thing I would mention from him in terms of a concern, what I would say, he does have a little bit of a propensity to travel. Notice that in few games, obviously, the game winner, some people thought was a travel, but it's just something I've noticed with Derik Queen. But I just think his overall skill level, he's going to be a really good offensive pro. The defense is where some of the questions come in. Statistically, this is a guy who played in 36 games, averaged just about 16 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, and a block and a steal. He did so while being pretty efficient, 53% from the field. As I mentioned, struggled a bit from the three-point range, 20%, and 76% from the free throw line. And just for a little bit more context, he only shot 1 3 per game. I do think over time he will be a low to mid 30s three-point shooter in the NBA. He does have a little bit of a low arc on his three-pointer. But I think that's something that can be corrected. Please like this video, by the way. It really helps us with the algorithm. Last thoughts on Derik Queen. I think he's a guy who is going to be drafted in the mid to late lottery. I do think he's a lottery pick. And I would say comps for Derik Queen would be guys like Domantas Sabonis and Alperen Sengun, really skilled bigs. The only question mark is I think those guys are a little bit bigger. Not a lot, but a little bit bigger. And I do wonder how that will impact Queen's ability at the next level when he is going up against more size consistently. Having said that, he played pretty damn well against Florida, one of the bigger teams, especially from courts in college basketball. So let me know what you guys think about Derik Queen. How do you think he will fare at the next level? Please drop your comments below. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.